Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Investors and Marketing Show, where we help real estate investors gain more leads, stronger relationships, and more deals through the power of online marketing. I'm Lyndsay Phillips, your content coach and expert on all things content marketing for entrepreneurs and real estate investors. And of course, with me is my trusty co-host.
I'm Aaron Hughes, a real estate investor and the world's only exclusive real estate investing copywriter.
Awesome. And today we were going to talk about growing your business through outsourcing. Now, I don't know if you've ever done this exercise or not, Aaron, but have you ever calculated your hourly worth?
Yeah, I think I do that every single day. As a copywriter, I'm always calculating what I'm charging and how I can possibly charge more.
No doubt, eh? I know. And then, because I remember way back when, it's like I wanted to hire someone to write my blogs instead of me do it. And even just like I was wanting a cleaning person to come to my house. And then I did that exercise and I'm like, if I did it myself, really, I'm taking this amount of money away from myself. And if I hire someone to do XYZ, it's going to cost half of what it would cost if like my time. Do you know what I mean? It was mind-blowing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'll tell you where I really struggled and delayed for a long time. So cleaning people, I've hired cleaning people for a great, the same reason that you did, that I realized my time producing income is much more valuable than cleaning people than it would cost to clean my house. But where I struggled, and it took me a long time to get there, is hiring people to do the work that I could do better. So like I'm a writer. I really struggled hiring even lower level people to do lower level writing because I think I could do it better and faster.
That is hard to get over that. And I'm like a control freak and type A. So for me to like let that go and have someone else do the work for a client, I was kind of like, you know what I mean? But I mean, I've got like, a team of 10 and I don't know where you're at, but I know you've got a lot as well. And it's like, you finally do let that go. And so it is so worth it. Like now that you've gotten there, do you not feel like, oh my gosh?
Yeah. It took me years to kind of figure it out, feel like I got it unlocked. But as soon as I did, I went from 2 people to 15 people in a year. It was very rapid. I could even grow faster, but I feel like I'm kind of maxed out.
Yeah.
But same thing. Like I had to get over it. And once I did, it really unlocked things for me.
I know. So I just wanted to kind of give our story so that people can open up their eyes that you can outsource like a ton of things like property managing, your social media, some of your marketing pieces, admin, quotes, pricing, like so many things, bookkeeping, accounting. It's amazing how many business owners will do that themselves.
The neat thing about real estate investing is obviously there are some things that you want to do yourself, or you want to have like be boots on the ground. But we live in such an amazing, highly connected electronic world that you can do so much virtually. And I mean, I was wholesaling in a different country and it was possible. It was sometimes challenging. You had to work around it or figure things out. But, hey, it really opens things up when you can do it anywhere.
Absolutely. Now, I know a couple of things that people ask me is where to find people and how do you hire them? Like, what is the process? I know for me personally, I may be in a different space in regards to, VAs and online marketing, but there's like Elance, there's different recruiting sites, hiremymom.com, whatever. But honestly, I've even just put posts out on social or some of the Facebook groups that I'm in. And as long as it's a word of mouth from like, oh, this person does this and this for me, or this person, like that goes a long way because it's not just someone out of the blue. It's like a referral, right? How have you gotten your team members?
So I'm going to split it up here into 2 different things. So on the one side, I've got like the people who are doing admin and marketing for me. But then on the other side, then there's like the real estate investing side, the people who are actually doing the work.
Yeah.
And so I think on the admin and marketing side, yeah, for sure. I really like what you said. Like Elance, I get a lot of, I get some people from there and from word of mouth or a social media post.
Yeah.
I think of the people I've hired, a lot of them came from me posting on Facebook and then a friend of a friend recommends someone.
Totally. And then,
and then on the other side of it is the real estate investing side, like the people, like the contractors and that kind
Yeah.
of thing. And so in that case, it's more of just like picking up the phone and calling around and
Yeah.
asking. Yeah, yeah.
Totally. And I think finding like using your relationships and networking, and if you are communicating with other investors, whether they're in your area or otherwise, like use your network as a resource because you'll never know who you come across.
My the very best place where I find almost all people that I work with
Hmm.
has been like my alma mater, like who I've gone to school with in the past. So
That's
I know these
amazing.
people. They're not
Yeah.
family. They're not friends. I don't owe them
Hmm.
anything.
Haha.
But we've gone to school together or something over the years. We've kept in touch through Facebook, and a lot of them were just like, and I'm talking about the marketing and admin side. A
Hmm.
lot of them were just like they're at a point in their life where they're not satisfied in their job. They're looking to make a change. But we have that connection, and we've known each other for a long time. So I trust them and that kind of thing. So I found like alumni of
Yeah.
wherever I
Oh,
got to
that's awesome.
school have been a huge resource.
Yeah, I've never thought of that, but you're right. Actually, my first employee was someone that I worked with in the past, and I just knew their work ethics and knew they were smart and could take things on. Yeah, your connections go a long way. Now, do you have any tips in regards to like onboarding or I know I get asked this a lot in respects to like confidentiality and that kind of thing.
You know what? I don't. I've the people I've onboarded, I mean, they kind of know me a little bit or know what I
Hmm.
do, or they are some, maybe in the industry, and I just I just get them doing work, and my onboarding is like dive in. I'll correct as you go,
Hmm.
and that's it. But I'm hoping that you can give some tips because
Haha.
this isn't an area that I'm great at, but I'm sure you have lots of good tips on this.
One thing I do want to say and just backtrack one step is that and I think some people freak out in regards to giving up control and having people have access to a lot of like logins and all that kind of stuff and personal information. But you don't necessarily need one VA, so to speak, to do everything and then dump everything on them at once and give full control. Like, and you'll know this from your experience too. It's better to have one person give them a piece, get them to fully dial it in and absorb it, and then give them a little bit more and a little bit more, and then you grow your relationship. Even when I onboard new clients, I'm like, I don't want to do everything right away. I would rather, produce your podcast, let's get that dialed in, get a good system going, and then, a month later, then we can kind of add more on, because I don't want to overwhelm them and I don't want to overwhelm myself either. So I don't want people to feel that it's like an all or nothing deal.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good. And I think that applies not just to the marketing side, but to the investor side. If you have someone who really wants to be an investor, is brand new, has no experience, you can have them work for you
Hmm.
as like a bird dog, driving for dollars, looking around for great deals, doing some due diligence, kind of being your boots on the ground and your eyes and ears around the neighborhood. But just start them on one thing. So
Yeah.
you're not giving them 10 different tasks to do, but give them one thing so that they're like only looking for certain kind of deals.
Hmm.
And then that will give them like, they'll be able to know pretty quick, this is a good deal, this is not a good deal.
Yeah.
And then you can add to that list as they gain more experience and more trust. But I think what you were saying is, yeah, don't overwhelm them with stuff. And
Hmm.
as they have success in one thing, then you'll learn to trust them more and give them more stuff.
Yeah, and your relationship will grow as well. And again, like for me, I have an onboarding, like a client intake form. Even when I'm hiring a new team member, I have a team intake form so I can get all their nitty gritty and what have you. I have my team sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, and I also sign one for my clients it's just a trust thing, right? So that they have it on their files, knowing that I respect their privacy, because I have access to a lot of things. Like some of them even like their Stripe and their PayPal and, you know, all those kinds of things. It's a lot of trust. So I just, yeah. And even I think too, with hiring someone and doing those little bits pieces at a time, you're growing that sense of trust as well. So it's kind of layered.
Yeah, that's really good. What is it that you're doing for the onboarding? What, like you said, you have an onboarding. document or something? What do you use for
Yeah.
onboarding?
So for my team members, like I need to know like their address, their phone number, what their Gmail account is to share Google documents and stuff like that. How they want to be paid through PayPal, what's their PayPal email. Um, so more like logistics and that kind of stuff. For my clients, it would be like the billing information, their contact information, all their social media platforms, all their logins, depending on what I'm doing, right? Like logins to their iTunes if I'm doing their podcast, log into their WordPress site to do things in the back end, log into Infusionsoft if I'm doing emails. So it's more like the nitty gritty. But I also need, when I'm onboarding a client, is I need their branding, I need their logos, I need their fonts, I need like all those kinds of images and stuff like that, so that I can hear their voice and be on brand and all that good stuff.
That's good. So yeah, for a real estate investor who is building an in-house team to do
Mm,
marketing and admin, even just like a Google folder of those
yeah,
kinds of things, of branding, key websites and logins and that kind of thing.
yeah.
On the other side, on the kind of the boots on the ground real estate investing side, you can still do onboarding. I'm guessing here, I'm just kind of thinking about it. I've just, as a disclaimer, I've never actually done onboarding. I'm terrible at onboarding my in-house team. I'm trying to think of how I would onboard your boots on the ground kind of contractor team. But I think it would still work with like you could do a Google Doc of like, here's how to get a hold of me. Here are the terms of our contract.
Yes.
Here's what to do if you don't get a hold of me and you have to make a decision. Maybe like emergency numbers. If the city officials come and want to shut you down because of a permanent problem, then here's what to do. So I think there's lots of things you
Mhm.
can still do to onboard your contractors, property managers, any kind of um, uh, any kind of boots on the ground kind of team.
I agree. And really, you kind of touched upon one of the pieces, and that is you want the nitty gritty, but you also need to set them up for success. Like you also need to create some sort of procedure or process so that they can get up to speed about your business, all the things that you do, the services, the products, the links, how your core values of like what your mission statement is, what you believe in, even like things like how you pay them and what you pay them, and like just the nitty gritty. And yeah, like branding documents, or because you want them to get up to speed.
Yeah, and I think when you're getting your team, or you're kind of delegating a task to your team, I think you want to give them not only the task, but you want to give them a little bit of contingencies as well. And you can build this in your onboarding too, where it's like, if I'm not around, make this
Hmm.
decision, or here are the limits of your decision making
Yeah.
skills. So for if you're working with a contractor and they need to go buy something, here's the absolute limit you can spend without me signing off on this deal or whatever.
Absolutely.
Um,
And that's like you're setting those parameters for empowerment.
yeah, that's good. That's a great term for it. That's exactly right.
Awesome. Now, what are your favorite tools for working with your team?
Well, let's see. I am a big Google Doc user, or Google
Yes.
Drive. I have folders all set up. Honestly, if I never had access to Google Drive, I don't know what I would do.
Seriously.
So I have usually a setup of Google Drive. Each of my team has their own folder. I can go in that folder, and they have basically a page where they can kind of track their time and what tasks they're on. And then they kind of can dive into a next folder within the structure, and that has their projects or assignments, or depending on what tasks they have, I structure the folders differently. But yeah, I usually have a bunch of folders and then one single document where I manage
Hmm.
their time and payout and payment. And then at the end of the year, I just gather those together, and there's my record for my accountant.
That's awesome. And you brought up one good point there, and that is time tracking. Now, when I started off, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's like myhours.com or something. I don't know what it was, but I had my team go in, you hit start, they do their work, and then you hit, stop, and then it tracks the time. For me, I use Teamworks for all of my project management with my different clients and tasks, and they track their time, and it actually exports to my QuickBooks, so it just makes my life so much easier. But yeah, just in case that you do need to track time and you don't, because it's easy to round up and it's easy to round down. If you're just tracking by,
That's true.
pen and paper, God knows what.
I try not to, just to give our listeners a different perspective. Like as much as possible, I try not to track time. Now, if you're working with, a VA and they're doing a bunch of stuff,
Yeah,
that's all your option. I really like creating a like some other type of measurable and then tracking that way. So with some of my writers who are content writers, bloggers, I'll pay them based on a number of words. So measurable. And some of them are going to take longer than others, and I'm not paying for the hour for that. I am paying by. And then I think the same would work for a bird dog, right? You're basically paying them for every deal they do. So whether they take 1 hour to do 5 deals or 10 hours to do 1 deal, you're only paying them by the deal. Same with contractors. If you can set up measurable
by jobs,
by jobs, by different milestones in a job, then you're still kind of outsourcing and managing that cost a little bit without paying for the time.
Yes.
So it doesn't always work, but
it depends. Absolutely. No, you raise a really good point. A couple other tools that I love. Now, I mentioned Teamworks, but I know it can be really kind of complicated in the back end. Basecamp is a super easy one to manage your projects, your deals, your what you want if you are working with different team members. And same with Trello. So that's like, it's colorful, it's got boards, you can drag and drop, it's super user-friendly, but just you need some sort of project management system to manage all those moving parts and making sure that nothing gets dropped.
Yeah, I'll agree in theory.
You're more of a you've got your whiblateboard behind you.
I've got my whiteboard and Evernote. I'm a power Evernote user. I hate Trello. I shouldn't say that so blatantly. I'm not a big Trello fan at all. And sometimes I have clients who want me to be on Slack or Asana, and I hate both of those too.
Yeah, so, I don't like either of them either.
I use between Evernote and my whiteboard. That's kind of how I manage things.
You're a little old school.
I am old school, but it works for me, and it's been scalable for me too. I mean, I manage 15 people, and I mean that's really what it comes down to is what's the best tool that works for you.
We all work differently.
Yeah.
What works for one is not going to work for another.
Now I know you've got, I'm looking at your list of tools here that I know we want to talk about, and you've got one on here that I use a slightly different one, but you want to tell us a little bit about Loom?
Yes. I used to use Jing or TechSmith, whatever you want to call it, but it was becoming painful. Loom, oh my God, I just do videos so you can either communicate with your team, you can communicate with people that you're talking to in regards to sales and give that personal approach and just give them a little message. For me, I often screen share and do little how-tos or just kind of explain things to clients, to my team members, whoever. It's easier than typing it all out, that's for sure, and sharing visuals and stuff. And then you just hit a button and you're done and you get a link. You don't even have to wait for it to upload, download. You just send it to by email or whatever, and they get it and look at the video, and it's the bee's knees.
I like Loom. I like video a lot, and I haven't really used Loom very much. I use because I'm old school, I guess. I use Screencast-O-Matic, which is kind of just a yearly subscription, but it puts the video on my desktop, and then I end up storing stuff in Dropbox. And the reason why I do that, and maybe Loom does this, I've just never bothered to look into it because I'm happy with what I've been using, but I store all these videos in Dropbox, and they've kind of become my onboarding, as I'll send my team, check out this, check out that, you need to do this. So that's worked really well for me. So, and I think and that works for investors too. Obviously we're talking really about marketing and an in-house team, but it works for other people too. You don't have to necessarily use Loom or Screencast-O-Matic. If you are walking through a house and you want to show your bird dogs, hey, here's what I'm looking for in a property, and you can just walk through a property with your phone and just do you do a selfie video the whole time of check this, check that. I ignore this. The roof needs to be looked at. Look at these cracks in the basement, and you could walk through a house with a video. We're recording a video. And then you've got some videos there. Obviously, it might be different software that you're using than Loom or Screencast-O-Matic, but still same concept and really powerful for your boots on the ground team.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially for sales, like if you just want to do a quick face-to-face, hey, just following up, blah, blah, blah. I thought about this, and this. I thought I wanted to share it. Boom, you're done. Send it. Instead of typing, like it sets you apart, right?
Yeah, that's really good. And I think now we're like, as we're recording this, there's a lot going on regarding like
Yeah.
coronavirus and that kind of thing. So I think we're seeing a real shift where people might used to do face to face, and now there's a lot less of that. And I think we're going to see more investors getting sellers to walk them through a house with a
Yeah.
video or take a picture of something and send it to me and that kind of thing. Like when I was wholesaling, well, this was years ago, but I was wholesaling virtually, and I would use like Google Maps or Google Earth or whatever it's called, right? Where
Hmm.
you literally look at the house
Yeah.
on Google. We do that. We get a contractor to drive by and take photos and that kind of thing. And we're a little bit more advanced now with
Hmm.
a more connected world, but that same kind of thing can still work. Get on
A
a
Zoom call.
on a Zoom call with a seller and have them walk through
Yeah,
their own house with you. I think that's we live in a really neat world where that's
I know.
possible.
That's awesome. Alrighty. Whew. I think we covered a lot there.
We did cover a lot. That's awesome.
Awesome. So I think that is a wrap. What do you think?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's get.
Alrighty. Well, that is a wrap for the Real Estate Investors Marketing Show. Thanks for listening, and congrats on taking steps to market your investing business. So, whether you're involved in wholesaling, flipping, note investing, syndication, we get what you do and what marketing strategies are going to help move the needle in your business. Be sure to join the Real Estate Investors Marketing Group in Facebook. So we share strategies, tools, tips, and tricks to grow your authority, build more relationships, and market your real estate investing business. So just head to reimarketinggroup.com. All right. Till the
All right.
next episode, my friend.
See you later.
Ciao.
Bye.